Hello friends, welcome back to the show. In this video, we shall be talking about the first response required in case of a snake bite. Snake bites evoke fear or even terror in our minds, and quite rightly so, because either it can be fatal at worst or a very painful suffering to say the least. These steps can be performed by any lay person. The first most obvious thing you must do is to call for help. And that is call for an ambulance. Dial 102 or 108. Once the ambulance arrives, when you are transporting the bite victim, you must make sure that the person is made to lie on the left side and that the right leg is bent at the knee. The next thing is the hand should be under the head to support it at a little height. This is to avoid choking in case of vomiting. Now here are some of the symptoms and signs of a snake bite. Depending on the snake species, they can vary. But most significant is a puncture wound mark with two piercings. But many a times these two distinct piercings may not be visible because there could be redness, swelling, and even blistering. The other symptoms include nausea, vomiting, and even diarrhea. The person could have difficult breathing, or even a rapid heart rate, or even disturbed vision. The person could even report numbness, or you could see muscles twitching. All these are signs of the bite of a poisonous snake. You must do these things first. The first thing you must do is to move the person beyond the striking distance of the snake. Take that person away into a safe place and move yourself also into safety. Next, you must remain calm and keep the victim still. The victim should not be moving too much because that only helps to spread the venomous poison. Next, have the person to lie down with a wound below the heart level. After doing the first three steps, do these three steps next. Remove all rings, bangles, jewelry, watches, because once the swelling sets in, it will be difficult to remove them and it will only make matters worse. Next, wash the bite area with soap and water and cover that with a clean, dry dressing. Please remember, you should never ever do any of these. Do not try to trap or chase the snake. Don't wait for symptoms to appear. Do not apply torquine, which means do not tighten the area around the wound to stop or block the blood supply. Don't suck out the poison. They show that in films, but that's a very dangerous thing to do. Do not slash or cut the wound. Many people do that just to bleed the wound to let the poison out. That doesn't help. In fact, it makes matters worse. Don't apply ice. Don't drink or offer that person any stimulant like alcohol, tea, or coffee. And finally, don't give that person any pain relief medication. That will only make matters worse. Here are the initial measures that any layperson can take. If you have a vacuum syringe close by, you can aspirate. That means you can suck out some blood from the area where the bite has occurred. But this is effective only in the first 5 minutes. Next, if you can apply local heat. This helps to destroy the poison. And as we said earlier, no ice packs, please. Finally, rinse the wound, and if you have potassium permanganate or iodine, application of that will also help. Remember one thing, a snake bite is a serious thing. You must get a doctor's help as soon as possible or take the person to a hospital. You need a doctor because there could be a strong anaphylactic or allergic shock, and you need a doctor in order to inject drugs such as adrenaline to overcome this shock. Besides, you also need a qualified medical person to administer the anti-venom serum. It is not a job for a lay person to do. Now I'll just say a few words about the polyvalent anti-venom that is used in India. It is derived from 4 major venomous snakes, and these are the cobra, the common krait, the Russell's viper, and the saw-scaled viper. Now, in a recent research paper which was published in the PLOS, by scientists at IIS Bangalore's Evolutionary Venomics Lab, and I'm quoting from that paper, and the link for that is given after that. The report says the only available anti-venom in India may be ineffective in treating bites for most of the lethal snake species found in the country. Now, this is quite a revealing and a shocking piece of information, but this is what they found with some of the top researchers from one of the top institutes in India. Now, here are some very important points to keep in mind. You must remember that not all snakes are poisonous. Out of more than 300 odd species in India, only 60 are venomous. And the snake venom is not a poison if it is swallowed. That's quite strange. It becomes a poison only when it reaches the tissues. So also you must remember that venom delivery, that means a poisonous snake does not always give you a poisonous bite. This venom delivery of the poison is voluntary, and the snake may or may not release venom when it bites every time. That depends upon a lot of other factors. As many as 50% of the bites by poisonous snakes are in fact what they are known as dry bites. They are not poisonous at all because the snake has not released the poison. The snake will release the poison depending on the ferocity of the attack for survival and on the strength of the provocation. For example, it will not waste venom on a huge animal like an elephant, but if it feels threatened by you and it feels that it can overcome you, definitely it will include the poison in the bite. And as I said earlier, 50% of the bites are dry bites, and anti-venom should not be given on a dry bite because it could have serious side effects. That is why you need a medical practitioner to determine whether an anti-venom serum injection is required or not. Now, here are some measures which we can take so that snakes do not come into our habitat. Snakes come in search of food, and residential complexes are places where they find food, because rodents like rats come searching for leftovers. And if leftover food is not handled properly, the rat population will increase, and that attracts the snakes who come down to hunt them. Another point is that our friends, the security guards who keep us safe, they need to be protected properly, especially with shoes which will prevent snake bites, and they must be provided with torches so that when they are working in the night, they can detect snakes easily. So friends, that brings me to the end of this video. Here are the references for the sources of information which have been used in the video. You can refer to them for further study. And once again, I thank you very much for your attention. And till we meet in the next video, I wish to say bye-bye. Thank you.